Hey everyone, Reese here, and welcome to Reese Rambles, the second channel of Control-Alt-Reese, if you're not familiar with it. And this is the channel where I put all sorts of unscripted and off-the-cuff and, stuff that just doesn't fit on Control-Alt-Reese, experiments and that kind of thing. And speaking of experiments, you probably noticed that this filming setup is very different to what you're used to, and it's essentially a test of my streaming setup. So I'm running this on OBS at the minute, which is the streaming software that all the big shot streamers use. And yeah, I'm hoping to be doing some streaming on this channel at some point in the near future. So if you're not subscribed to this channel and you are interested in jumping in on some of those streams and joining in with the chat and stuff, then yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, which will be on this side, I think. I guess, if that's not mirrored. So yes, without further ado, as they say, let's get on to the hot topic of this very video. So let me switch to the other screen. So I'm going to be using my Mister Multisystem, which is a Mister system, which is a FPGA-based thing that allows me to run lots of different systems, lots of different consoles and computers and stuff like that. I'm not capturing from original hardware on this one. Obviously, I do own various Atari 2600s, but in this case, for the ease of capture and for the quality of the output, I'm going to be using the Mister. And the topic of this video, I mean, this is combat on the Atari 2600, so between that and the and the title and the thumbnail and everything else, I'm sure you've probably guessed it. But yes, the topic is the Atari 2600, as Atari have literally just announced the 2600 Plus. So I thought we would take a quick look at that. So this is their official website. It's up on here for $129.99 in dollars, and it is also available in the UK and internationally. I know in the UK you can order it on Amazon for $99.99. I'll put links to all of this stuff down in the description, of course. And yeah, it comes with this 10 games in one cartridge. It comes with a reproduction CX40 joystick, which they are manufacturing brand new once more, and that uses the original DE9 joystick port on the back of the console. I think there's a picture of that. There we go. And yeah, it's a slightly smaller replica of the 4-switch version of the Atari 2600, which is really cool. And apparently it's slightly smaller than the original, and obviously I don't know what the build quality is like because nobody's got their hands on one of these yet. I do have one on order, and that should be arriving in November. I think it's the 19th that they're being dispatched. Here in the UK anyway. And yeah, it's compatible with pretty much all of the back catalogue of 2600 and 7800 games. There is a compatibility list on the website. It uses software emulation on an ARM CPU, but it does support original cartridges, which is really cool. And it'd be cool to see if it supports like flash carts and that kind of stuff as well. And if we scroll down the page, we can just see you know, all the information about the cartridges and compatibility and that kind of thing. It's got a light-up Atari logo on the front, which I think that's going to look quite cool, actually. You know, if it kind of shines through the old fake wood grain like this, you know, it's a striking thing. You know, my hat is off to Atari. I'm sure they'll probably screw it up somehow. But anyway, so yeah, we've got the package contents. We've got the obviously we've got the console itself and the joystick. Be interesting to see the quality of those compared to the originals. And yeah, if we continue to scroll down, we can see that they are also selling. Here we go. We've got the CX30 Plus paddles. So they're actually making brand new Atari paddle controllers again, which is really cool. And they come with a 4-in-1 games cartridge, which, as you can see, has Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Night Driver, and Video Olympics on it. 4 classic games. I'm not quite sure why they didn't include Warlords on there, which is quite a big paddle game. But there you go. Perhaps there will be other releases in future. And again, it supports the original cartridges, so I guess it's not that much of a loss. They're also selling the joysticks separately, and again, you can use the original joysticks with this 2600 Plus, and you can also use the brand new joysticks and the paddles with the original consoles, because they're essentially completely forwards and backwards compatible. They've done this enhanced edition of Berserk, and they've released a new game, Mr. Run and Jump, which I haven't actually checked out yet. But yeah, Atari really on it at the moment with the new stuff. And I think to kind of mark this occasion, a website called Time Extension, which I'm a big fan of, have released a list of their top Atari 2600 and 7800 games. And I thought it might be fun to, you know, to check some of them out. So let's have a little looky. So here is the Time Extension article from last Friday. And yeah, I just want to say I don't have any association or affiliation with this website. I'm a regular reader. I do check in a couple of times a week. And I saw this come up and went through the list, and I thought, there's actually some really good games on this list. So why not check them out? So this is written by Damien McFerrin. I think he owns Time Extension. He also runs like Nintendo Life magazine and other stuff like that. Some other gaming related stuff. But he's got the credentials. Hopefully he knows what he's talking about. So let's start scrolling down the list and see what we have. So we've got a brief introduction to the 2600 itself, and of course the article announcing the release of the 2600 Plus. Continue to scroll down, and the first recommendation we have here is River Raid. Now, River Raid is a game that I am very familiar with. It's one that I've used in a lot of my 2600 videos to demo the hardware and to test stuff, and it's a great game. So let's get it fired up. So this is River Raid, published by Activision in 1982, and I only know that because it says it at the bottom of the screen. And I should just point out the way that this is kind of framed here with the black border and stuff. This is actually how the Mister outputs. It's the raw output from the Mister, and it does kind of vary depending on game to game. So I can't be bothered with resizing the canvas for every single game, but I've tried to position myself in the corner in such a way that you can actually see what's going on without me covering up too much stuff. So hopefully that's okay, because this is a second channel video after all. Right. So the premise of River Raid, if you're not familiar with it, is it's a vertically scrolling shooter, and you're flying a plane up this river, and you've got to shoot the helicopters and the planes and the boats and all the bad guys, and you've got to collect the fuel. You've got to shoot the bridges as well, otherwise you crash into them. And that's pretty much the game. It just kind of loops and gets harder as it goes along. You can control the speed of the plane. You can go faster by pressing forwards, and you can slow down by pressing backwards. I say pressing, obviously originally you would have been playing this on an Atari CX40 joystick. I'm actually playing this on this 8BitDo M30 reproduction Mega Drive pad, because that's what I use with my Mister. But I can highly recommend it. It's a very good pad. Again, no affiliation. But I may as well put a link to that as well. But yeah, so that's River Raid. Let's check out number 2 on the list. So just continuing to scroll down, we get to Pitfall, another Activision game and another excellent game on the system. And indeed, another one that I have used in the past to demo and to test 2600 things. So, Pitfall, a game that you are hopefully familiar with from seeing it on my channel. And again, Activision, 1982. Again, I know that because it says it at the bottom of the screen, although the Time Extension article does mention all the dates and publishers and stuff. And it is, well, I'll show you what it is. It's essentially a basic proto-platform type game. You have to run along. Well, somebody out there is bound to argue with that definition there, but yeah, it's a platformer. You run along, you dodge the obstacles, you jump over stuff, you repeatedly fall down holes, as you can see here, because I'm not very good at it. I keep getting hit by these logs. There we go. Been a long time since I've played this. And it has some cool little touches, like this swinging rope here that you can jump on and fall down the hole. Let's try this again. And if you get hit by too many things, you die, obviously, and then go back to the start. So you can jump on these crocodiles' heads. I'm not doing very well at this today. Anyway, I promise you, this is a game I've played a lot in the past. A great game. It's hours of fun. As you can see, you're on a 20-minute timer from the start, so you can complete the entire game in under 20 minutes if you want to. But yeah, really good recommendation. Again, excellent game on the 2600. And yeah, it may not look like much to modern eyes, but it really does kind of show off what the best of what the console can do. And as with all of the Activision games at the time, really does kind of push the 2600 to its limits. So back to the list once more, and we'll have another scroll down and see what pops up next. Adventure, of course. I think this was this one of the launch titles on the console? I'm not sure. It says 1980 on here, so maybe not. But really well-known game this, of course. So let's get that one loaded up. And here it is, Adventure. And as you can see from this title screen, there's not much to it, but we press start. And this is the player character here, which is a dot. And we basically have to pick up this key and take it through this maze. and go and unlock something and go to the end. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I must admit, I've not really played Adventure other than very brief dalliances with it like this. I've never really sat down and tried to play it. I'm not sure if it's aged all that well. As you can see, it's pretty basic, but it's a top-down dungeon crawler type game. And this game, is that a bridge? What's that? Okay. And now I'm in the Black Castle. Anyway, this game is quite famous because it's the first example, apparently, of an Easter egg in a commercial game. So if you perform the right combination of actions, and I don't know what they are, I don't know how to trigger it, but perhaps a topic for a future video maybe. But yeah, you trigger a specific combination of actions, and the developer's initials come up on the screen. And I believe that Atari didn't actually know. You know, the cartridges were manufactured and it went out there, and it was only afterwards that word kind of got out. And was that one of the developers that went on to start Activision? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, this is a off the cuff thing. This isn't one of my usual thoroughly researched videos, because if it was, it would be on the main channel, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's Adventure. Top down, find the key, unlock the thing, walk around in circles for ages, get attacked by a giant ostrich, and that's actually, I think the ostrich is supposed to be a dragon, but to me, it's always looked like an ostrich. Let's see if we can we find it? I think it popped up earlier. Let's continue. I'm just going around in circles here anyway. Anyway, that's Adventure. So what's the next game on the list on timeextension.com? Let's continue to scroll. Atlantis. Okay. Yes, I mean, I'm acting surprised like I've not already looked at this list, but yeah, Atlantis is a great choice, actually. Let's check out Atlantis. So this is Atlantis, copyright 1982 by iMagic, and as you can see, it's a very colourful game. I can only assume that these rainbow ships and things, you know, this used maybe some kind of like composite video artifacting effect to make them shiny or something. When using the original console on a CRT, I'm not really sure, but they do look very nice and clean and crisp on the Mister in their beautiful resplendent rainbow paint jobs. So what is the concept of this game? Well, let's have a look. So press start, and we've got 3 bases at the bottom. And basically, if you press fire, the middle one shoots. If you hold down right and press fire, the right hand one shoots. And if you hold down left and press fire, the left hand one shoots. And it's essentially kind of a take on the Missile Command kind of formula, where you've got the 3 bases at the bottom, you've got stuff at the top that you've got to shoot. But yeah, really fun game. Obviously, there's not really much more to it other than just... there we go, we've cleared out a level. Repeatedly shooting this stuff, and I promise it does shoot back at some point. A bit like, oh, what's that? Oh, there we go. This is taking out my middle base. Yeah, the stuff does shoot back, as you can see. Yeah, cool game this. Loads of fun. Well worth checking out. One that's probably lesser known on the system, I think. But, yeah, good game. So what's next? Let's continue to scroll and see what else we can see. Warlords. Ah, here we go. Oh, scrolled a little bit too far there. You got a cheeky preview of the next one. Yes, let's check out Warlords. So this is Warlords. What is Warlords, you might ask? Now, I have to say this is a paddle game, and I knew this was going to come up, and I tried a few different solutions to try and get paddles working. I know you can use a mouse. There's stuff like the control dock, which I do actually own, so I could have run this with the original paddles, but I just didn't. This place is such a mess at the minute. But I'm going to show you how it works on the gamepad, which isn't ideal. It's definitely designed more for paddles, but I can explain the concept, and hopefully you can see what's going on. So we are in the top left base. Oh, what's going on? Ah, there we go. We're in the top left base, and this is kind of... it's a 4-player game, so on the original console you can plug one set of paddles into the player 1 socket or port, and you can plug another set of paddles into the player 2 port, and you can have 4 paddles in total connected. And basically each person has a base in the corner, and as you can see on the top left, the other ones here aren't doing anything because I don't have the other players connected. And it's a bit like Breakout, really, where you kind of have to chip away at the blocks. And the twist here is that you defend your own base using this little shieldy thing that goes around in circles. But yeah, that's Warlords. haven't got the extra players or the paddles to be able to really demo that in any kind of capacity, but quite a fun multiplayer game if you've got 3 friends and 2 sets of paddles. And I can confirm that I can at least fulfil one of those requirements. I should add as well, as I'm scrolling through this, there's some really interesting kind of background information and story about all of these games as well. So this article is well worth checking out. Like I say, no affiliation or anything. I just thought it was a good article and a good inspiration for a video. So let's continue to scroll again. And yeah, you may have caught a little glimpse of this before. This is Combat. And you can see it says here that the release date for Combat was 1977 because it was a launch title on the 2600 and it was actually a pack-in game with that console. So it actually came in the box with most of the 2600s that were sold, certainly the earlier ones anyway. So let's check it out. So this is Combat. If I press start here, essentially you've got your 2 tanks and you drive around and you shoot at each other. And it's a 2-player game again. You know, AI stuff wasn't what it is nowadays. Back in 1977, I'm not sure if Yar's Revenge was the first game where you kind of play against the computer, so to speak. This is all stuff I would research properly if this was a proper video. But yeah, so you've got this arena. You've got the 2 tanks that you can drive around. There's a few different arenas that you can get to in various ways. Let me just press the. Sorry, I'm not sure about the button mappings on this. So on the original console, you've got the Game Select switch on the top of the console. And by pressing that, it basically switches through the various modes in this game. So got a few different arenas here that you can fight in. Let's try this one. And again, 2-player game, so the other tank's not going to move. So not so much fun on your own. But there you go. Oh, some crazy collision detection happening. But if we continue pressing the button, it goes through. You've got your different arenas. You've got different, slightly different rules on these. Obviously, I need the manual to fully understand this. And eventually, we get through to this little game, which is Planes. So yeah, Combat is the obviously the theme, the name of the game, and this is dogfighting. This is aerial combat in your little biplanes here. Quite cool for a launch title from 1977, I must say. But again, need a second player to kind of fully appreciate it. And we keep going through, and there's various different variations on these. What on earth is that? I don't believe I've played this one. Oh, okay, it's giant plane mode. Giant plane versus 3 small planes. Okay, answers on a postcard, and we'll keep going. And yeah, we've got faster planes, pointy planes. Ah, this is more of a like an asteroids kind of control scheme. Quite smooth turning and stuff, but quite impressive what they managed to do. Like I say, with the console, considering it's a launch game. How many modes was that? 27. There you go, 27 different game modes to play with. That's good value for money. Now let us continue on our quest down the list, the timeextension.com list. Ah, Asteroids, I just mentioned Asteroids. One of my favourite games on the system, so let's take a look at it. Now, here we go, conversion of the famous arcade game, of course, and I hope you're not expecting amazing things because this is the 2600 after all. This game dates to 1979, published by Atari, and yeah, like I say, it's a conversion of their famous arcade game. So let's check it out. And I must say, like I mentioned, it's one of my favourite games on the system. It's quite a fun one just to fire up and have a play with. It does get quite painful with the original joystick. I will mention that because you do end up sort of holding forwards quite a lot and hammering the fire button quite a lot. Ergonomics perhaps weren't such a consideration back in those days. But yeah, look, we've got the UFO there that flies across and shoots randomly like it does on the arcade game. And yeah, it's a surprisingly competent take on the game. Of course, we've got the old flickering sprites here, which are very capably reproduced, emulated, simulated by the Mister. And the reason for that is because obviously on the 2600, getting more than 2 sprites on screen was a bit of a hack, and developers had to find various ways of racing the beam to do that. And the the compromise that they came up with was this flickering effect. Obviously, on a CRT with the the fraction of a second that it takes for the phosphor to kind of fade out, they wouldn't have been nearly as flickery, although they're still a little bit flickery. But that, of course, is enhanced by the HDMI nature of the Mister and the way that I'm running this. Anyway, I've waffled on far too much about flickering graphics. Let's check out the next one on the list. So, some excellent recommendations so far. So, yeah, these are all 2600 games so far. From what I remember, this was supposed to be a 2600 and 7800 list. So, let's continue. Oh, Pole Position. Oh, I love Pole Position. Excellent recommend. These are genuinely really good recommendations. Okay, let's check out Pole Position. So, copyright 1983 Atari, and again another arcade conversion, and a very competent one that really shows off what can be done with the 2600, I think. Apologies if the sound's a bit annoying. So we have to hold down forwards to go forwards, and I believe we press the button to change gear. Oh no. Okay. I remember. It's all right. I've played so many different versions of this. There's the 5200 and 8-bit computer version, which is really, really excellent, but the controls are slightly different. So yeah, you basically hold down forwards to go forwards in low gear, or you hold down backwards to go forwards in high gear. And you basically have to avoid these orange blobs, which I promise are other cars, competitors, and you just have to make it to the end of the course. But I mean, graphics, this is fast, it's fluid. The graphics are, you can actually see what it's supposed to be. Really competent game on the old 2600, this, and one that I can highly recommend. So what's up next? Let's have a little scroll. Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers, okay. Yeah, a Mario game on Atari hardware. Of course, it was a thing, a conversion of the arcade game yet again. Probably not the Super Mario Brothers that you might be thinking of from the Nintendo consoles. So let's check this one out. And here it is, Mario Brothers, copyright Nintendo, copyright 1983 Atari. Some of these games might have other modes and things, by the way. I know I showed off the other modes in combat because I think they're quite an important part of the game. But most of the games on the 2600, you could actually press the game select switch, or even the difficulty switches on the console, and it would switch to different game modes and things. But not sure if that's the case with this game, and I'm not really going to be testing them in this video. But let's check out Mario Brothers. Of course, based on the... and this one you actually press fire to start rather than pressing game start, which is interesting. And yeah, so you've got the block in the middle to knock the little turtle dudes over. Oh. Poor, save the turtles. There we go. And then you have to grab this thing. And you have to grab that guy. And then grab this thing. And then more turtles come along. Oh! And oh! Oh, that was a bit mean, wasn't it? And that's pretty much it. Yeah. And you can't jump on them to kill them. So, that's Mario Brothers. Not much to it, but yeah, it's a adaptation of the original arcade game on the very limited hardware of the 2600. So I guess we can cut it some slack. Let's just try and get these little turtle dudes. Collect these spinny things. Quite nicely animated. Oh, nicely animated there. Saw that one coming. I really need to pay attention to what I'm doing. And you'll find, when I do start streaming, that not only do I have to pay attention to the games, I have to pay attention to the chat as well. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun watch. There we go. And yeah, there we go again. So Mario Brothers. So Space Invaders. Space Invaders, another excellent game. Okay, yeah, let's check out Space Invaders. So, another one of my favourite arcade conversions on the system. It's almost as if there's quite a limited number of excellent arcade conversions on the 2600. But Space Invaders is surprisingly good. And of course, it's a game that everyone is familiar with, and it plays very nicely. Let's get going. Just show some of this off. So, of course, you've got the different aliens, you've got the sound effects, you've got the zappy doodle thing at the bottom that you can control and move around. as per the original game. And they very slowly move across the screen and drop down, and you've got the stuff that appears across the top. Oh, I was gonna hit that. And yeah, this is Space Invaders on the Atari 2600. The only thing I will say about this game is the one thing that always kind of puzzled me a bit was the colour palette, because it's very, I mean, it's kind of brown and beige and orange, and I suppose it's very 70s. You know, not quite as colourful as the original arcade game, but I guess that's just a limitation of the hardware. But yeah, Space Invaders. So let us continue on our quest. Aha! A 7800 game. That's interesting, because the box art that they've used here actually says 2600 on it, but we will go to the 7800 version. You'll notice I haven't said the name of the game yet. It's Ikari Warriors? Ikari. Is it Japanese, or are we going with Ikari Warriors with the Western pronunciation? I'm not sure. I've actually heard about this game. I've heard of this game, of course. Very well-known game, but I can't say I've played it. Certainly not recently, anyway. So let's have a look. So you can already see the more advanced hardware of the 7800 in full effect here, with all these sprites and things, animated title screen. Ah, yes, it's this game, I see. So 2 players. We want 1 player, don't we? 1 player. Press select to choose options. Let's not do that. Intermediate, advanced, expert. Let's go for novice. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a novice. And as you can see, the big jump in technology, the 2600 was released in 1977, and the 7800 was released nearly over 10 years later in 1986. And it kind of shows, although kind of not. Bearing in mind, if you compare this to other consoles that were around at the time, we're not far off the Super Nintendo. The NES had already been out for 3 years at this point. And yeah, this is I'm not doing very well at all here, am I? Got this vertical scrolling, and I've got guys shooting bullets at me and throwing grenades at me. And we've got this cheesy beepy boopy music in the background as well. So yeah, it is what it is. Would I consider it one of the best games on the system? Well, like I say, it's not one I've really played, but perhaps I need to play it a bit more. But yeah, controls okay. Apparently that was novice difficulty. I dread to think what the other difficulties look like, but yeah, let's check out some more games. And that's still making a load of noise in the background, so let's just... How do I stop it? Well, hopefully the mic's not picking that up. But anyway, we're back on the website now, and we continue to scroll, and we've got Alien Brigade, another game that I've not really played. I'm not really... I do own a 7800, of course, and a load of games, and I have owned one previously, 15 years ago when I first started collecting stuff. But I don't really have all that much experience of the 7800 library, so it'd be interesting to check some of these out. So, Alien Brigade, let's see what it's all about. So we've already got another fancy intro. Of course, fancy intros being all the rage by 1986. And it's an alien finger, which is very slowly writing Alien Brigade. There we go, on the screen. Copyright 1989. And I noticed there's actually a light gun option for this as well. I don't have a light gun for my Mister. I do actually have an XE light gun here. Can you see that? I won't move it because it's kind of nestled among some other stuff. But yeah, so the 7800 was light gun compatible. Not a very popular or common peripheral with that particular console, but of course we're playing the joystick version here, and I guess it's a light gun type game. Oh, so of course by this point the I think that was a hostage. I don't think I was supposed to shoot him. The 7800 had 2 buttons. See, the 2600 only had 1. So we have a machine gun button and a grenade button. And I guess when we've got helicopters and tanks and things, we have to throw grenades at them. This reminds me of... Oh, shot that guy's hat off. Operation Wolf. Yes, on the Atari ST. Very much so, similar theme and whatnot. Is this an arcade conversion? I think it might be. It's a good game, actually. It's a lot of fun. Of course, the 7800 as well, unlike the 2600 that came before it with its joystick, the 7800 did have a joypad as well, at least here in Europe. I nearly said in the EU there, but yeah, I suppose that was the case at the time. Go away. Oh, we're going back. We're going back to the left. Yeah, cool game actually. I like this. This is good. This plays really nicely. It's quite frantic. Can I just hold down fire? Oh, I see. So the little green things that I'm... Oh, shot hostage. Yeah, so the green things that I'm picking up occasionally are ammo. So it's probably not in my best interest to continuously fire. Yeah, Alien Brigade. Is it one that I have? I can't see it in my collection. No, I'm going to have to pick that one up for the 7800. Yeah, good game, and I'm sure it's even more fun with the light gun. Right, so we're back on the list. How many more do we have? It seems like it's quite a long list. Ninja Golf. Now, this is an interesting game. Let's check out Ninja Golf. So, if you're a fan of ninjas and a fan of golf, this is the game for you, Ninja Golf. Let's normal. I'm not sure if normal applies to this game. Again, I'm going to play it on easy because I'm a bit distracted and I'll just get my pro gamer excuses in. After many long years of ninja training, you are finally ready for the most difficult test of all. 9 holes of Ninja Golf. That's a difficult test. Come on then. So you whack the ball and then people come along and attack you. Is that something to pick up or... There we go. Down to pick up. There's the ball again. And you whack the ball. And then more of these dudes show up. Of course, 2 buttons so you can jump. And this is Ninja Golf. It's a fighting game where you occasionally hit a golf ball with a golf club. Quite an interesting concept, really. Not something I've ever seen repeated. There we go. So, oh, hit an enemy with the ball. But this game was exclusive to the 7800. It's one of the very few games that were exclusive. There we go. That's more like it. And don't really know what else to say. The occasional frog jumping at you, jump over those. Occasional ninja dude comes along, kicks ass. And, oh, let's grab that. I'm going to keep playing and see if we can get to the actual hole. So just bear with me a second. Where's the ball? You can see the map in the bottom left, which shows where we are in relation to the ball. And we can change the angle and the power, and that should get us onto the green. Hopefully, if we don't get killed by ninjas and giant mice in the process. That looks like a throwing star, doesn't it? A shuriken? Some music wouldn't go amiss. Anyway, here we go. Right. We're onto the green, and got a boss who is defending the hole from Mr. Ninja here, Mr. McNinja. We've got these throwing stars, so we're quite well equipped. Although it would help if I could aim. Not impossible to dodge that one. And that's it. Hole 1, 6 shots, 3,000 point bonus. I like the explosion noises, they're quite epic, aren't they? And we're on hole 2. So again, use the map, bottom left corner to aim where we want to go and set the power, full power, off we go. And that's it. Ninjas and golf. What more could you want? So quite an interesting game that, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how we're going to top that. Let's continue to scroll. Donkey Kong Jr. on the 7800 once more. Great game. Let's check it out. Okay. Oh, I've started that as a two-player game somehow. Anyway, it's not two simultaneous players. Yeah, that theme music was interesting. I hope you can hear me over this racket, by the way. But yeah, if you've ever played Donkey Kong Jr. At the arcade or one of the various other arcade conversions on various home systems, this is it. This is Donkey Kong Jr. Not quite sure what I did to player 2's go there. I managed to skip that somehow. So we've got Mario at the top, and he's chucking these angry clams at us. I presume that's what they are. And we've got to swing from these like... Come on, Donkey Kong, you can fall further than that. Yeah, you've got to swing around on the vines and collect the fruit and get a high score and, yeah, get to the other levels. So... player 2's not working because, of course, it's expecting me to be using the player 2 joystick. That makes sense. I must say, Donkey Kong looks very unhappy. I hope, Anyway, that's Donkey Kong Jr. I'm not quite sure why they picked that. Bit of a weird choice, but I guess it's a good conversion of the arcade game if you're a fan of the arcade game. So we must be nearing the end of this list. Food Fight. Here we go. Classic. Another arcade conversion. One thing that the 7800 was known for was kind of the quality of some of its arcade conversions. So let's check out Food Fight. Food Fight, copyright 1984 Atari, and at the risk of doxing myself, 1984 was the year I was born, so I'm sure it's going to be great. Personalise your Atari High Score cartridge. Of course, the High Score cartridge was an optional add-on for the 7800, which could save high scores in all of your games, or in some of your games at least. And yeah, evidently the Mister is emulating that aspect of Atari 7800 ownership. So we'll just set this up. Obviously, car, Control-Alt-Reese. Yeah, get it. That's enough. Does that? Yeah. And it's Food Fight. Let's select starting level 1. Eat the cone, player 1. Okay. Oh no, my cone is melting. And really lovely graphics on this game. You've got your player character with obviously your big old head there. You can see which direction he's looking in, and you just got to get across and get your big mouth around that. Makes him a happy boy. And of course the aspect that gave this game its name is the fact that you can pick up these various items of food and throw them at these angry chefs that are pursuing you. Get points. My cone's nearly melted. And that's it. Great game. A really classic game. Loads of fun. And yeah, I can highly recommend it. Great one, this, on the 7800. And worth playing one of the various different ports that are available if you can get your hands on that. Oh, no, there we go. I like his head when he gets hit. Very cool. Then he suddenly becomes magnetic to fruit, as you do. So what else have we got here? We've got Galaga. Great game. Let's check out Galaga. Another game from 1984, and this is yet another arcade conversion. And I guess Atari playing to their strengths there. And you should recognise this. It's Galaga, so it's like a fancier Space Invaders. And of course, there was also Galaxian. And yeah, this is yet again a great game. You can fire multiple shots, unlike your 2600 Space Invaders. And it's a really good conversion of the arcade game. Of course, the graphics aren't quite as pretty as the arcade original, which is just a limitation of the hardware. But really fast, really smooth, really nice controls, even on the original control pad. and definitely a game I can highly recommend once more on the 7800. Really good time, this one. If you're any good at it anyway. Kung Fu Master. Aha, Kung Fu Master. Yes, so IREM 1989. Kung Fu Master, known as Spartan X in Japan, was designed by Takashi Nishiyama, who would later work on legendary franchises such as Street Fighter and Fatal Fury. So there you go, there's a fact for you. I suppose we should check out the game. Kung Fu Master, manufactured under license from Data East USA Incorporated and IREM Corporation. Kung Fu Master, copyright Data East USA Inc. 1984, blah, 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 blah. Just show me the game. Now this is, of course, hopefully a game that needs no introduction. Why is it not working? I don't know. Oh, the battery's died in my control. Oh, no, it's not. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway. I thought my battery had died for a second there. So, yeah, Kung Fu Master, you've got to go through these various levels. It's up to jump. Played a few different versions of this over the years. You can crouch, you can jump. You got this guy who comes along and throws knives at you. You got these guys that kind of don't really do much. That's not very friendly, is it? You got punches, you got kicks. It's Kung Fu Master. Whoop. Ah. Not so sneaky now, are we? No. 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 Now this is definitely... Oh no, the zombies got me. They're zombies? They don't like zombies. Perhaps they're just, hell-bent on strangling people. Either way, that's Kung Fu Master. Yeah, classic game. Good version of the game. Not a game that I'm a particularly huge fan of, but I guess it's a good choice. It's all right. So we must be nearing the end of the list now. So we come down to Rampage on the 7800 once more. Another classic game for the 7800. So again, let's take a look. That music is good. So, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We've got giant monsters invading the city. And, yeah, it's Rampage. If you've ever played Rampage before. Yeah, tasty guy there. I like the cactus. Can we eat the cactus? Personally, I wouldn't want to eat a cactus, but then I'm not a giant monkey, so yeah. It's quite primitive as per the other games on the 7800, but also surprisingly competent and quite nice to play, which is, I guess, pretty much sums up the 7800. Just unfortunate that it was a little bit kind of behind the times hardware-wise. It was a symptom of Dremels and their cost-cutting approach to things and their focus on Atari as a home computer company rather than a gaming company. So, yeah, the history of the 7800 is not something that I should probably be getting into here. But yeah, again, and I know I've said this many times about most of the games that I've played here, a competent arcade port, and it plays quite nicely. Yeah, it's all right. So I must confess I have scrolled ahead just to see how many more games we've got, and we are very much nearing the end here. So let's check out the last couple of games recommended for the 2600 and 7800 by TimeExtension.com. So we'll continue to scroll, and we've got Midnight Mutants. And I'm not quite sure why they haven't got the artwork or the cover there. Let's just, what does it say? Biggest selling point, connection with the show itself. Okay. He used the likeness of Al Lewis, famous for portraying Grandpa Munster in the hit TV show The Munsters. And if you're old enough to remember that, you're probably even older than me. But yeah, I do remember it. Scrolling action adventure, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I mean, I thought maybe it might be like a prototype or something, and that's why the, why the artwork wasn't available. But yeah, it's a new one on me. Let's check it out. Midnight Mutants. A bit of a strange name for a game, isn't it? October 1747. We've got some witch burning going on. You can't be a good old-fashioned witch burning. I will return. Perhaps I should have said that in more of a witch voice. I will return. I'm back. Is that a witch? Some kind of dude in... Yes, vengeance is mine. Good, good. Vengeance is always good. And it seems to have the power to transform pumpkins into dogs and Gramps into a pumpkin. Anyway, let's get on with this. The ultimate Halloween nightmare, Midnight Mutants. Of course, we're nearly at that time of year again, which is we don't want to admit it. What even is this? Potion to restore health. That wasn't kind of what I was questioning, but this potion will purify. I'm getting attacked by bats. What on earth? That's some kind of cave. Help! The wicked Dr. Evil has risen from the grave and imprisoned me inside a plastic pumpkin. A plasmic pumpkin. I promise I can read. It's a very strange font, isn't it? Especially, I'm playing this on like a... What is it? Like a 28-inch monitor or something that's right in front of my face. So I can't be with you, but I can give you clues which may help. Whenever you need me, press the right button and I might have some good advice. Okay. Weird looking... Grandpa Monster dude. It would be nice if I could get out of this cave. There we go. So running around the park again in that frantic manner that I do. Have you been a good boy? What does that even mean? It's supposed to be a hint. I've got bats. Get the knife first. It can be found in the west of the mansion. Until you find it, you are helpless. So avoid monsters. That's a good. That is a good tip. Okay, so avoid the west. Is the west towards the left? Must admit, this bat's quite annoying. I'm helpless. Go away. The dead will rise to greet you at the doctor's command. Oh, there's a knife. Haha! Throwing knife, nonetheless. No less. Right then. Nope, let's just go back into the same room. Pow! Weird looking John Lennon monster. Without the knife, you are helpless. With the knife, you are slightly less helpless. Well, that was good. Yeah, I guess it has the potential to be a good game. I think I'm going to have to play it a bit more to make a decision. Can't seem to get to that heart in the middle. I guess is that water? Maybe I can't swim. Oh my goodness. And I've lost the knife as well. So, yeah, I guess I need to go back to the mansion and get the knife, and then I can fight my way through some of these enemies. Interesting game, I guess. I'm going to have to check this one out a bit more. May well do it on a future live stream. Let me know down in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. So we're down to our last game of this video, and the more observant among you have probably already spotted it because Midnight Mutants was a very short entry. And if we scroll down, we are, of course, greeted with Joust, that classic game, yet another arcade conversion, of course, by Williams. And yeah, let's play Joust. So, everyone's favourite ostrich jousting simulator, Joust, arcade game. Copyright Atari 1984, Williams 1982. Yet another arcade conversion. I think you can see a bit of a theme emerging here. Anyway, for our last game. So, prepare to joust. And hopefully this is a game you're familiar with. Another one that I'm not great at. But yeah, so I keep saying that I'm not great at these games and playing them on novice and stuff. I think people are going to start questioning my my gamer credentials soon. But the idea is that you are riding on this ostrich, and you have to joust with these other characters. And you've got the momentum as you kind of flap around and fly. The momentum feels really nice in this game, and they've done a great job of capturing that for the 7800 version. And here we go, survival wave. And yeah, that's Joust in a nutshell. So I think thy game is over. And as you can see, the old high score cartridge doing its job there, and that's remembered the details that I filled in from before, so that's cool. So let's switch back to the old big view. There we go. So there we go. Thanks for joining me on this experiment and this little test of my kind of streaming setup. Hope it comes out pretty good. And yeah, hopefully some inspiration there for some 2600 and some 7800 games to check out. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you for your support. Thanks for your likes and subscribes and all of that kind of stuff. Don't forget to check out the main channel, Control Alt Reese. Of course, I'll put a link to everything down in the usual places. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will hopefully see you again soon.